be able to start our money making and XP process, we're going to head to the star system Cheyenne. This is near the Alpha Centauri system, and it's one of these first star systems that you'll go to during the main scenario quest. Inside of Cheyenne, we're going to want to go to Aquila City. You can come here at any point in time. You do not have to wait for the main scenario quest, but once you get to Aquila for the first time, you're going to see a situation here at the bank. You're going to want to help solve this crisis where you need to save the hostages and take down the bad guys. If you do this well, you'll be able to start the quest line for joining the Freestar Rangers. Now, we don't have to complete this quest line right now. We just want to get to the point to where we have to go into the rock here, which means we just need to solve that bank crisis situation. Then we can head into the rock, head upstairs, and there's going to be a nice lady over here called Emma Wilcox, who will give us the opportunity to start joining the Freestar Rangers. She's going to give us a quest where we need to prove ourselves, and this is really as far as we need to go to start our money making and XP process. This is going to give us access to the Freestar Rangers mission board, where we can take on various missions that will not only give us money, but access to Crimson Fleet captains. Some of these involve going down on planets where you can get all sorts of really good items. The one that we're going to focus on right now, and you could accept all of these and run through each and every one of them, we're going to pick up one specifically right now for destroying the Crimson Fleet captain. This is going to have us taking down a fleet of Crimson Fleet ships, and we're going to want to actually board and take over the captain's ship. So we're going to accept this one. Once you accept whatever quest you want, you can just go ahead and track them and show them on the map. There are a few things that's going to help us drastically improve this process, as well as the XP and money we get. For our skills, you're going to want to pick up a tech skill called Targeting Control Systems. You only need the first level of this, and if you have leveled up a single time in the game, you can pick this up right away. Obviously, subsequent levels will help your targeting systems be even better, but getting a rank 1 of this allows us to be able to target specifically the engines of opposing ships, allowing us to disable them and then board those ships. That is definitely one of the most important things that we need, and obviously a better ship will come in really handy for taking down fleets of enemy ships. Now, you can do this with the starting ship. You can upgrade it at any shipyard, but I do have 2 videos on getting 2 of the best ships in the game for free that you can use at the very beginning of the game. One is the ship you get for the Mantis quest, or the one that I'm using right now, which is hands down the best Class A ship in the game, which you can get for free for completing the Freestar Rangers questline. I've got 2 videos on the channel. I'll leave them in the description for getting both of these ships, but otherwise we just need to go to the location to try and take down this Crimson Fleet captain. It should be marked on your map once you get to the system. Just go ahead and jump there. Now, sometimes when you encounter these, there'll be a whole fleet of ships, or it'll just be the Crimson Fleet captain. Once you have the ability to lock onto ships, what you need to do is just target them with E, and then eventually you'll get this target lock thing popped up, and you can hit the button that it tells you to be able to specifically lock onto their engines. Just quickly take out the engines, and once you have taken out their engines, all you gotta do is just hold the button to be able to dock and board their ship. Depending on how much damage you've done to the ship, there could be no gravity on the ship, which is always a good time, but essentially what we need to do is just kind of go through the ship and take out everybody in here. Now, you can do the difficulty switch, where before you actually board the ship, you can change your difficulty to very hard, go into the ship, then switch it to whatever difficulty you normally play on. This will actually improve the loot within the ship, because that's the way it works in this game. But they're usually behind a door. Just open that door and start blasting and kill everybody inside. You can see that we get quite a bit of XP for doing this, not only for killing each enemy, but also completing them. But you'll also see that we have contraband on these ships. That's one of the ways that we're going to make a lot of money from doing this. And I'll show you exactly how to deal with contraband without having to buy specific things or worry about ever being scanned. I don't know how a lot of people don't know about this yet, but it's an amazing life hack, and I'm trying to share it with everybody possible. So we want to definitely loot everything in here because there's quite a bit of money to be had from all of this. And before you take over the ship, you want to make sure you loot everything in the ship as possible. You're going to want to make sure to check the captain lockers for credits and other materials, and also make sure to check the cargo hold. If you're having trouble locating other things that you can loot on the ship, you can always do a scan and it'll help highlight all the different things that you can actually loot. Make sure to keep an eye out for any kind of loose contraband. Depending on your luck, you can find anywhere between 1 and 5 contraband on here. I think 4 is the most that I've gotten, but I've heard some people say that they got up to 5. I think that depends on if you actually get like a actual container full of contraband. It could vary with the difficulty that you do it on as well. Once you're confident you have looted everything from the ship, we can actually register and then sell the ship if we want. Sometimes it's worth it, other times it's not, but I will show the process real quick for this. So you can choose to either actually take over this ship. Go and sell it and make a little bit more money. Or you can just go about your business continuing through different missions. I don't believe that this ship is actually going to be worth the process to be able to do this, but I will show it just so you can see exactly what you need to do. Now, since we have contraband on our person right now, we want to sell that contraband first. And if we want to get rid of contraband really easily without having to worry, what we can do is we can actually go to the Wolf system, which is right next to Alpha Centauri. If we go here, we will not get scanned. And we can go to a place called the Den. So just go ahead and jump here. And since we're not landing on a planet, we're not going to be getting scanned. Thus, we're not going to have a chance of losing our contraband. This is actually a star station. You can target it with E or whatever button to target, and then we can just dock right at it. This is my favorite place to be able to sell contraband because it's the fastest and easiest place to go to, and you never get scanned. It's also the closest trade authority. Once you dock and board, just go straight and then turn left. The trade authority is right there. To be able to sell your contraband, it's going to be under miscellaneous, and if your vendor happens to run out of credits, all you have to do is sit for 48 hours. I don't know why people keep saying 24 hours. I've tried it 100 times. 24 hours does not work, but 48 hours does. Depending on how much contraband you get, you can make a lot of money doing this. We only got one this time. But don't forget, you can also sell anything else that you loot. You can sell the armor pieces that we get, or the spacesuits, which typically are worth a decent amount of money, and any weapons that you loot as well. A lot of the weapons that you loot from the Crimson Fleet will be worth quite a bit of money. Here we can talk to ship services, where you can view and modify your ships. And from here, we can just register the ship to be able to sell it later. You can see the value really isn't worth a lot. The value of this particular Crimson Fleet captain ship is only 6,296. If we register it, we're going to see that it costs 5,294 to actually be able to sell it, which means we'll only make just about 1,000 credits from selling it at the end of the day. But as you keep doing this, you'll notice which ships are actually worth keeping and which ones aren't. So we can confirm this, we'll register it, and we can just sell it later. In this menu, what you can do is you can cycle back to the ship that you're currently using, and then you just want to go ahead and make that your home ship, leaving the ship that you stole stationed there so you can sell it later. Now, the way we just did this is probably the least efficient possible. Doing one quest, looting everything, then taking the ship, selling stuff, turning in the ship and registering it, etc. for every single mission can be very time consuming. And the real trick is knowing which ships are worth registering, and what we can do is we can actually store all of this stuff on our ship and become a contraband smuggling expert. There's ways we can upgrade our ship to avoid being scanned so we can do more things before having to go and sell them. Now what we're going to want to do is head to a nearby star system called Porrima. This isn't too far away, and don't worry about the level. Inside of the Porrima star system, we're going to want to go to Porrima 3. On here, we're going to want to go to the Red Mile. Once at the Red Mile, you're going to want to head inside and then go to the ship services. You'll have to go in through this door and talk to the thick old boy at the desk. And we're going to view and modify our ships. Once inside, you're going to select your ship and then go to the ship builder. You want to hit the button to add a part. You're going to want to head to the cargo section and then look for the shielded cargo. There's quite a few different versions, some of which offering quite a bit more storage capacity, but also the larger they are, the more mass they will have, which will reduce your jump range and mobility. I'm going with the Caravel shielded cargo holds, and I'm going to put 2 on this ship. Once you have your shielded cargo hold, you're going to want to head over to equipment, and you want to pick up a scan jammer. If you only have Starship Design rank 1, which you can get from the tech tree, you can get up to a 30% chance to evade people scanning your ship for contraband. The multi-frequency one, you need Starship Design rank 2, which I definitely recommend getting, because there's a lot of cool upgrades you can get by upgrading your Starship Design. But right now, I'm just going to go with the dual frequency. You can add more than one of these, but I'm not actually sure if they stack or not. I'm going to put 3 on here just to kind of test it out. But let me know in the comments if you have experimented with any of the stacking of these scan jammer frequencies. You can also quickly level up your Starship Design by equipping unique things to be able to get the better scanner jammers. Now what we can do is stock up on a bunch of valuable items by running these missions, stock up on contraband, and there's also one more thing that we can add into this loop. If you go to the Olympus star system and jump there, once you're here, you're going to see this star station sitting here. This is actually an abandoned star station. I made a video on this a couple days ago, and you can make a ton of money in here. You can select it with E, or whatever button your select is, and then we can dock here. Once docked, you can go ahead and board. And what's great about this area is it respawns every 7 in-game days. So since you're going to be time traveling to restock the amount of money that a vendor will have, you can easily come back here to be able to get contraband and rare items. And once you clear this out the first time of all these spacers inside, you'll never have to fight them again. So you can actually come in here and freely loot this area every 7 in-game days. You're going to want to head to the bar area and then up. And then up here is going to be these safes that you can actually hack into and open up. There's 3 different levels of them. You have the advanced, the novice, and the master one, as well as this box at the end that always has a good item in here. You can get legendary items this way, as well as a bunch of other valuable resources. Make sure to bring digipicks to open up these safes. Safes will have credits, potentially other valuable items as well. Once you're done looting everything in this area, you're going to want to head back out and down to this safe right here. If you go down under this safe, we can zoom in through here, up through this little hole, and in this back area is actually a contraband cache. Inside of here is going to be quite a few different types of contraband, I think up to 9 or 10, which is worth, I believe, about 12 to 20,000. Which is pretty freaking great since you can do this so quickly every 7 in-game days. Now, once you've acquired contraband either from looting these ships or going to that abandoned station, you need to put it in your shielded cargo. There's a couple different ways you can do this. You can go directly to your cargo hold and you can transfer it into there. You're going to need to go to your inventory once you access the cargo hold, and then you need to go down to the miscellaneous and then put all of your contraband inside. Now, the way this works is it automatically puts contraband inside of the shielded cargo. And as long as the weight of the contraband that you're putting in is less than your total shielded cargo capacity, then it'll automatically shield it. It just kind of works. Right now I have 360 mass available for my shielded cargo, or 320, and as long as the contraband I have on board weighs less than that, it'll automatically be shielded with the chance to shield from our jammers. You can also access your cargo hold by going into your inventory, then you can hit whatever button is to access your cargo hold, you can see it down here, and then you can hit the inventory button to be able to transfer it into your cargo hold. The menus are a bit of a mess, but once you learn it, it's pretty easy. Now from here you can pick up these missions, wait until you find really great ships to be able to steal and sell, and just loot as much as you can from all of these ships, and you'll be able to make more money than you'll really need. Tie this in with any kind of missions that you're doing or main scenario missions, and you'll be able to get a ton of money to do everything you want in Starfield. The more you get used to this process, the more you'll recognize which ships are actually worth stealing and selling. It's usually the larger ships, the better. The more doors, the more areas, more power that they have when you actually sit in them, the more valuable they'll be and the more worthwhile it'll be to actually take it somewhere where you can sell it. Sometimes you'll get lucky with really large ships, other times you won't. But this process is really effective. Now do keep in mind that you're going to want to save before you try and jump to different star systems and land on planets when you have a lot of contraband. Since it is a chance to pass this particular check, you don't want to lose all of your contraband if you have stored a ton of it. So saving is going to be very important so you don't waste a lot of time. But the more you get used to this, you'll kind of start understanding your own playstyle and what you need to do. And I really do hope you can use this method to make a ton of money in Starfield. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one.